Well, next on the show was they had some great, big, elaborate staged entrances on this program, Brian. And again, I'm not poo-pooing the concept of grand entrances. They've been done many times in many ways. But remember when the entrances used to have something to actually do with the fucking person that was entering to the entrance? And it wasn't just a brief little vignette performance and then the same shit they normally do or whatever. This was just, it was shoehorned in for the sake of the pageantry. But can't they figure out a way to bring Stone Cold Steve Austin out at a goddamn beer truck or something to tie into the goddamn entrance? There's a bunch of ninjas with swords and they're on the stage and flipping and swinging swords. And I'm thinking, well, it's Okada. And there's a big Japanese symbol on the back of the screen. And here comes, and it's Ospreay. I'm like, why is an English guy accompanied by ninjas? And then they were plugging a video game. And I'm like, do these guys dream of being in a video game? What does a goddamn game of ninja assassins have to do with a fucking soccer hooligan?
Well, he's the aerial assassin.
But he still ain't a goddamn ninja.
Man, they were flicking those swords around. I'm thinking, I don't want to fight them. They should get in the ring.
Can you imagine if one of them had lost their grip? Holy shit, But anyway, so they did the video game tie-in plug to make Willie Boy happy. And they just, a budget like this, and they still figure out a way to look like teenage dorks. And then, actually, this was my favorite part of the show. Suddenly, on stage, there is a singer. And she's singing Chaka Khan. And it's a young lady who you told me later, but her name's JoJo Offerman. I'm like, well, okay, I haven't heard of her, but I haven't heard of any of these fucking musicians. And she sang, "Ain't Nobody Love Me Better." See, I sound just like Chaka. We're the same key.
Oh, yeah.
And she sang it. And then the song was over and she got nice applause, did a great job. And then they faded to black. And then it was Whose House? And Swerve's regular entrance. So it wasn't, he didn't come out and start singing a duet with her and then walk to the ring. It was like a little musical vignette in between. So, again, best part of the show so far. But, and apparently, JoJo Offerman, you say, was married to Bray Wyatt. Why didn't we get talent like that in the Wyatt family instead of these fat indie guys?
Obviously, it wasn't really referenced as to why she was singing that song about Swerve.
Well, apparently ain't nobody loved me better, and not that there's anything wrong with that. But no, I don't know if there's any connect. But is it just because they wanted to get people in a nice little groove for Swerve? But why sing a really good song and then follow it up with that fucking awful goddamn rap shit he does?
Well, this was definitely, I think this may have been the longest introductions for this match of all the introductions for the whole night.
Well, we ain't got to long yet. Because then it was time for Swerve and Ospreay's opponents. And here come the Hardley Boys. And they come out on the stage in the Benjamin Franklin jackets of the Founding Fathers thing, and they get their pyro. And then they run back to stage right. And you don't see them, and they're like, what the fuck? Where'd they go? And then they have a goddamn fake Revolutionary War era rowboat is on some kind of bracket on the edge of the building. There were riggers and people spent money on this amateurish looking bullshit. The boat's stuck on the wall so they can basically sail it across the arena while these two nimrods are in the boat doing the salute to like Washington crossing the Delaware. While Smiley Roberts is reading the rib announcement that they've written about how they're the founding fathers and you're hearing the fife and the drum music and the beep, beep, beep. And the buckaroos are jacking off in the boat with their fake acting.
Not hearing the fans.
And it's going forever. And the people are just staring, just sit like this, just what the fuck? And not only the people, but did you see they had a shot in the ring of Ospreay? He had wrist tape on, but he was tapping his imaginary wristwatch back to the fucking back. This ain't our fault. We ain't taking a time away from our fucking match because of this bullshit. You go back and watch it. That's exactly what he was doing. I've seen that many times from a number of people. But now the people have even realized these guys were always just the trained chimpanzees. And the only one that hadn't figured it out yet is Tony, because he keeps letting them indulge themselves in this ridiculous tomfoolery. But then, Brian, unfortunately, after the length of these entrances, the match was even longer. Swerve and Ospreay against the Lollipoppers. And the bell rang, and instantly, it turned into a rapper and a soccer hooligan fighting two male cheerleaders. And they're having the announcers tell the story that these two fucking nitwits are tag team specialists. That's why they're bouncing Swerve and Ospreay around. But again, Jesus Christ. It's going to go forever. If you've seen one Bucks match, then this was worse because it brought out the worst in Swerve and Ospreay too, and then it turns into, the acrobats on America's Got Talent. And it just doesn't end. And Knox is the referee, so therefore there is no structure. He's useless. At the start, they shot old Matty off for a double elbow, and he thought he was supposed to duck it, so they elbowed him in the fucking face. But the Bucks, in between their gymnastics and or the alley-oop stunts they do, it's just some flat-footed bullshit because they don't really know how to wrestle. And they never practiced any of that on the trampoline. So it's just a collection of cool moves. And it's, at various parts. One in particular was this ridiculous back and forth that was so choreographed and contrived and fake, and where they just do everything to each other in turn over and over again until they all fall down.
Yeah, sequence. The fans were dead the whole match. All of a sudden, they whipped out everything they could for like 60 seconds just to hope to get anyone up. It was a sequence.
The thing about the acrobats on America's Got Talent? What were their names, Brian?
Oh, no one remembers their names.
Watch them for 3 minutes twice a season. It was fun. So they gave Swerve the flipping spike tombstone pile driver on the floor, and he was back in the ring about a minute later making a comeback. They did a tease thing where Ospreay knocked Swerve out with his elbow finish by accident, but of course, Swerve suffered no ill effects from it. He'll just be mad about it sometime later, maybe. The Bucks hit their finish on Ospreay and got a 2 count. Then they super kicked. No, then there was a spike tombstone pile driver on Ospreay for a 2 count. Then they super kicked Swerve 8 times and went to knee lift him, but he blocked it and made a comeback because he hadn't been taking bumps on those or anything. Then they gave one of the buckaroos a double stomp on the ass into a tombstone pile driver. That was a 2 count. And then they gave another tombstone, I think, was a two. What is worse, that this is so obviously fake, or that the two top baby faces' best shit can't beat either one of these little pussies? Which do you think is worse?
Remember, the Young Bucks are like the Road Warriors of a modern generation. That Matt Jackson's throwing clotheslines around like he's Hawk.
So finally, they set it up where Swerve would run with the kick to the head and Ospreay would run with the elbow to the back or the head or whatever on one of the buckaroos in the middle of the ring. Boom. 1, 2, 3 in 27 minutes, bell to bell, after the long introductions. And this was the blow off of the whole nonsensical EVP deal that's never made any sense and has never had any consistency. Is just now they decided to put it up so that they could have this stunt show match here on the stadium when there's their two top baby faces, either Ospreay or Swerve, and they're in this with a tag team that nobody cares about anymore for something that never made any sense to begin with, just so they can play for 30 minutes and the buckaroos can come in a flying boat.
Yeah, the fans were dead for the Bucks coming out there. I was surprised how dead they were. And they were dead for a large portion of the match until it became do everything you can, kick out of everything, over and over and over. The pop it got, it wasn't just, yeah, the baby faces won, or yeah, the heels lost. I think it was really, we're sick of this shit. Yes.
Yes.
And I think AEW, I think this night was about giving their fans the feeling that all the shit that you guys hate is coming to an end.
Well, that's the one thing about it. There was more relief cheering from some of these results than it was, like you said, oh, Kerry won. No, it's like, oh, thank God we're rid of these fucking guys. More of that type of thing. But that was that match that was there. How far are we in? I can't remember. I think we're about 2.5 hours in by now.
That would probably be a good time, Jim, to open up a store. You probably had enough time to come up with a concept, come up with a way to bankroll the whole thing, and open up a store. And of course, the perfect partner for your online store are our friends at Shopify.
Now, I'm going to tell you what, since this show started, Da Vinci had time to paint the Mona Lisa. But yes, for you budding entrepreneurs out there, if you've been sitting there thinking, God damn, I got to start a business so I don't have to deal with shit like this. The folks at Shopify can take your dream and not turn it into a nightmare, but turn it into a reality. Because Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world. Shopify is behind 10% of all the e-commerce in the United States. Household names like Mattel all the way down to the folks just getting started like you and maybe me. And all you got to do is go to Shopify.com right now and you can get started with your own design studio. AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, enhance your product photography. You can send the folks at Shopify a picture of your next door neighbor's wife, and they can enhance all the clothes off of her.
That's not how it works.
And send it back to you.
They're not going to send anything. Of course, we're talking about what they could do for you online. Everyone needs a strong online presence. Everyone's online store needs the right partner, the right boost to get the right sales. You can get those sales with Shopify.
That's right. You can get the word out like you've got a marketing team behind you. They're going to send about 6 or 8 guys, and they're going to dress pretty rough, and they don't shave. And when you walk down the street, they're going to be behind you. That's your marketing team. And when you say, hey, buy some of this stuff from me, people are going to do it.
No, that is not Shopify's marketing team. That is not their outreach. Ladies and gentlemen, they are there for you. There for your business, more importantly.
Oh, you're saying they're virtually there, so they'll intimidate people over the internet for you.
There won't be intimidation. We are not assuring anyone or guaranteeing any intimidation. What we're saying is you will intimidate the competition with how strong your online presence will be for your
and how
store.
easily you have created email and social media campaigns to find your customers courtesy of Shopify. They'll tweet people, they'll find their emails, they'll call them on the phone. Sometimes they knock on their door. They will find these people wherever they are.
No, they will not find you. You will remain unknown.
No, they're working for you. They're going to find other people. And they're gonna pretty well tell them that, you got to start supporting old Joe Bifflick's, donut shop over here. Elsewise, bad things can happen.
That is not the way it will work.
It says they can find wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. So they've got them pinpointed. They've got some scouts out already, keeping an eye on a lot of people. Likely suspects that will spend money.
Again, none of this is a thing that Shopify will do. What they will do is be there for you, and what you need is sales, and they are there to help you and escort those sales right to...
Because they have a list of known easy touches that they have cold called in the past that'll buy anything.
They don't cold call anyone. That's not the way it works. What it is they bring you in, and they get those sales, and you look up, and you listen, and you hear... There it is. You hear that?
That's right. That's right. I couldn't have dinged it better myself or said it better myself. Right now, folks, turn your big business idea into the cha-chinging that you just heard with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 a month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/JCE. That's how you get the $1 trial period. Shopify.com/JCE for a $1 a month trial period and begin building your empire today.
That's right. They support our online store. They could support yours. Our good friends at Shopify.
And after all, we would be nothing without our supporters.